Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakakwadash, and the honors to the apostles and elders of great Muslim salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother, I am Noah Allah from Jamaica, Chicago, and coming back with you with another lesson, alright? And as you can see here, this is on the news, but really, this happened outside of a Swedish hospital, and basically, alright, two officers were shot at, one of them was killed, and this lesson is basically going into about there be spirits created for vengeance, all right, and in these last days you're going to be seeing more of that, all right, not more people are always getting shot at by the day. There's always shootings, there's always school shootings here, there, and the third, and it's only going to increase, all right, especially now in this time, because you also have people that are struggling the cost of living, all right. Not so long ago, I just saw that gas for regular is basically up $5 now, all right. And for truckers, for those who use bigger trucks, they use that I forgot what's it called. Basically, truckers, all right, they're paying more for gas than anybody else, as far as I know, all right, because they gotta pay like $6 now for gas, all right, and hey, the gas prices ain't coming down anytime soon, all right, and it's going to tick more people off, all right, it's gonna really push people's buttons, it's really going to have people on edge, all right, because of the cost of living is getting worse, all right, but nonetheless, I was going to go into this article. It says suspect in shooting that killed Officer Bartholomew ordered detained. Funeral arrangements announced. Prosecutors say the Alpha Tally held hospital staff at gunpoint. Second person of interest questioned in earlier robbery. CPD says. Chicago. The man accused of shooting two Chicago police officers, one fatality, the other held pending trial Thursday. The Chicago police officers, one fatally, was ordered held pending trial Thursday, and pretty much might know that part. But these prosecutors said Thursday Tally was calculated and managed to hide a 10mm handgun on his body. Right, and court records that show that Tally had an arrest warrant for committing a carjacking and armed robbery before Saturday's shooting at a Swedish hospital. They said Tally claimed to have swallowed 5 bags of narcotics and struggled to breathe. It's something prosecutors say that Tally has apparently lied about before after previously being arrested. Late Thursday, Chicago police said they are questioning a second person of interest in a robbery that occurred prior to the deadly hospital shooting Saturday. Officer Bartholomew and his partner had arrested Tally after a reported armed robbery at the Family Dollar store. Says that led to take him into a Swedish hospital for observation, and after being checked by security and booked into a room, prosecutors say that Tally was given a moment of privacy to change into his gown with one arm still handcuffed to his bed. Prosecutors say he was then escorted to the CT room by officers and hospital staff, but was seen on surveillance fidgeting with one arm under his gown, and as soon as they arrived to that room, he allegedly pulled a gun and shot both officers in front of hospital staff. And hey, noticing that he shot two officers, he held underneath his gown, all right, and while he was handcuffed, all right, and he shot both of them. Ended up basically paralyzed because, pretty much he can only move his eyes to answer questions. All right, but that goes to show you, there be spirits created for vengeance. All right, and the Lord created these spirits that are created for vengeance. And yeah, that didn't happen as if the guy knew the officers. Nah. All right. Yeah, there's something called reincarnation, or everybody gets punished at some point. All right. Yes, still use it. Sirach 39, 828. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their third lay sword strokes in the time of destruction. They pour out the force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail. Well, yeah, there be spirits created for vengeance. All right, and they appease of the wrath. They appease the wrath of him that made them. And hey, the Lord, He created these spirits, created for vengeance. All right, the Lord basically controls both good and evil. All right, the Lord has angels on the left hand side, and the Lord has angels on the right hand side. All right. Says fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for. Fire, hell, and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. These teeth, a wild beast, scorpions, serpents, and the swords of punishing. What the fuck is this? Death, all these were created for vengeance. The teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. You see, the Lord, He hates the wicked, all right? Which is now He is punishing them. It says, they shall rejoice in His commandment, and they shall be ready upon the earth when need is, and when the time is come, they shall not transgress His word. But nonetheless, to the main point, all right, the Lord created spirits that are created for vengeance, all right, to appease the wrath of Him that made them, all right. And hey, you're only going to see more death, all right. You're only going to see more judgment that the Lord is going to send forth, all right. And it's really by a reason. So ever and hey, the reason why those two officers got judged is really, they weren't innocent at the end of the day, all right. None of us are innocent on this side, all right. None of us, all right. We all deserve death, cause hey, we all committed sin. We all committed transgression of the law, all right. Because hey, sin is still transgression of the law, and the wages of sin is death. But because Yahushua was made as our propitiation for our iniquities, all right, as our offering, as He was crucified, all right, the Lord basically blotted out Salaki. The Lord basically had grace upon us, He had mercy upon us, all right, so that our sins may be forgiven, all right. And of course, we're still in this flesh, all right. We're still in captivity, all right. We go off. We're not perfect, but that doesn't give us because of Yahushua being crucified, all right, that doesn't give us the right to commit iniquity, all right, to commit sin, all right. Because hey, just like again, all right, sin is transgression of the law, all right. And we don't make void of the law, all right. The Lord changes not. Job 4:7. Remember, I pray thee, whosoever perish being innocent, or were the righteous cut off. Even as I have seen, they have plowed iniquity, and so wickedness reap the same. And yeah, none of us are innocent. All of us are worthy of death. And right now, what you just judged right there, of course, they weren't innocent at the end of the day, because there's a thing called reincarnation, right, that's talked about in the scriptures, all right. We all live many lives, all right. We all live many lives, and we all transgressed and sin against the Lord, all right. Which is why we're under the curses even unto this very day, all right. because we sinned against Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai. Say verse 8, even I have seen they that plow iniquity, and sow wickedness reap the same. And that's right. If you, straight to the point, if you plow iniquity and sow wickedness, right, you're going to receive judgment at the end of the day. See, 1 John 3 and 4, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And that's right. Just because Yahushua was made as our propitiation for our iniquities, so that we may be forgiven, right? That doesn't mean that gives us right to go off, all right? We're here on this side, still serving our captivity. And of course, the Lord is going to turn away our captivity, but hey, we're being punished, right? We're being tried as of right now, all right? We're here to basically do the will of the Lord and to rehearse the righteous acts to the best of our ability. And nonetheless, hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shalom.